right, the video's kicking off. Hello, everybody. Thank you guys for joining us on this episode of the Cabrini Kid podcast. I'm your host, the champ, the Cabrini Kid himself, David Haywood. I got my co-host here with me, KP, joining us again. And then we have our very special guest with us here for the first time, Miss Nessa B. Nessa, say hello to the people.
Hi, guys.
And this is going to be a special episode because obviously this is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Obviously we have a lot to be thankful for. We have a lot to cover that we've all gone through over the course of the last year. So we definitely want to make sure that we take a moment and pause and say, give thanks for being able to connect with everybody who's going to tune in tonight. And have an opportunity to express our appreciation for you for taking the time. So just wanted to get that out the way, a little housekeeping items. A little heart there for you. So first, KP, this week I saw a post I thought was very interesting this week.
Okay.
And the post said, let me pull it up here. The post said, normalize having your shit together before you meet a man so he can spend his money dating and courting you instead of trying to get your po ass out the hole. How much do you think courting should cost? And do you think it matters? Do you think that what you put in during the courting stage, and then obviously Nessa, this is specifically where you're going to tie in because we need a woman's perspective on this, but
sure.
How much do you think it should cost to court, the courting stage?
So for me personally, excuse me, I think that I'm a different kind of cat. Whereas I think outside the box when it comes to certain dates, to where it doesn't necessarily have to be monetarily driven, but it could be more engagement driven to where we are getting to know one another comparatively to where we're going, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, how much one should spend? I'm not of the mindset to necessarily take a female out to a 5-star dinner the first time I take her out.
Did he freeze?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, wait, what happened? Yeah.
And in the most awkward of facial expressions.
I froze?
Yeah.
You froze with the tongue out.
Something about 5 stars. You don't take
You said, I'm not going to take it to a 5-star restaurant.
Jeez, they're probably going to clip that one up right there, probably. No, so like I'm not one, as I was saying before I was frozen. I'm not one to typically take a female out to a 5-star dinner restaurant, that very first time. Whereas another dude maybe if we're in Scottsdale or whatever, they may want to take her to a Mastro's or a Dominic's or so on and so forth. And then what do you know, after she gets that nice steak dinner, it's possible she's throwing you the deuces. Something went wrong in between the time, you guys spoke and the next time you went out. So, I mean, how much you should spend, I think it really just depends on the energy of the two people. I go about a first date, I have like a couple different places that I like to go for a first date that is a little different than your standard very, 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 very nice dinner. So, I mean, throughout the duration, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It just depends.
Nessa, what about you? Do you think it matters? Do you think that there is a standard,
I don't
we
think
could
there's a
call it?
budget. I mean, can't speak for males, but I don't think as for women, I don't go off of a budget. I don't typically judge like if I go somewhere nice versus somewhere not nice. I've done dates like where like we literally just like I'm in Springfield, so we walked around Bass Pro just so we could get to know somebody. You know, it kind of just depends. I typically like something where like it is engagement, kind of like what he said. Like what like do we work well as a team? Like can we do like an activity? Like I don't think it matters like restaurant wise, as long as like the communication's there. But I do feel like there should be some type of effort. Just kind of depends though.
But
Do you think that? Go ahead, Kay.
but don't you think the effort is in where you also like where that person takes you?
I mean, it can be. I think it can be. Like, I mean, I wouldn't, I don't know. Like, it is, I don't care. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm definitely gonna. All right, so say we went to like McDonald's. Say we went to McDonald's, and then like it's like okay, and then like you're nervous or whatever, and then like the conversation isn't good, and we're just sitting at McDonald's. Like okay, like there's not much to go off of there. You know what I mean? Like okay. So versus if I went somewhere nice, I'm like, okay, he thought about it, he put a little effort, he planned it, and then I feel like I'd give him a little bit more grace if
If he
you know
was
what I mean.
nervous.
Right. I'd give him a little bit more grace because it's like, okay, well, you already put more effort into like the first impression, the date, versus you didn't care. And you're just like, all right, I don't want to spend so much money on her for the first time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if it was, let's say it was to a nicer place than McDonald's, but you didn't necessarily feel the connection, would you give him more grace for a second date if you liked him,
It
as
depends on the
opposed to if you took you to McDonald's and there and you didn't feel the connection?
it depends on the in between time. Like, all right, when's the next date? And then what's the conversation and everything looking like in between that time?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay. When? Yeah, that makes sense. Um,
Wait. So if he takes you to a nice restaurant, are you letting him hit?
No, that doesn't mean you get to, no.
So okay, so I know that's not a quote unquote determining factor, but let's say if he did take you to McDonald's, would he still have just as good of a chance to if he took you to a nice restaurant?
Not on the first date. It doesn't matter where he takes me, what we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. When was, and this question is to Nessa, when was the last time, or have you planned a first date?
I typically don't like that. I don't like doing it, but I will if I can tell by like the conversation that like they're like they just can't figure it out and they're nervous and they don't want to make the right like or wrong thing. I'll throw in suggestions. Like I'll give them a couple options like, well, I like this type of food or this type of food and I like to do these type of things. And then I'll be like, you pick though. But now you have an idea of stuff that I would like, so you can't go wrong. So
Right.
So
Okay, do you like suggestions, or do you stick to your game plan and see if she fits in the game plan.
I do take.
Uh-oh. I think he
Oh,
froze again.
he froze?
Yeah.
What's going on?
All right, you unfroze.
What's going on here? Like, you guys are both just frozen too. That's crazy.
Oh.
I do switch off my routine, but I do ask. I do ask, but I do like to incorporate what they like and what I would typically do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So
do
I
you
do
think
that suggestions for sure?
Do you think that there is, like Nessa said, she will give some grace dependent on the amount of effort put in? Do you feel like you, as the guy who planned the date, if it doesn't go well, will still have that same amount of grace if you put a lot of effort in?
So, I mean, this is the Cabrini Kid podcast. So this, like, what I'm gonna say is gonna be as raw and as real as I possibly and only know how to be. So in regards to Nessa, which Nessa will understand this because she should know that I understand this, is that which her answer is different because of the kind of woman she is and where she's from.
Uh-oh, what's that mean?
Well, Midwest women are different than...
I deal with a totally different kind of woman in Scottsdale, Missouri, Scottsdale, Arizona. You know what I mean? Whereas Nessa, she's probably more likely to have to give that guy some grace. Mm-hmm. Whereas a girl out here is like, nah, you ain't getting no grace. You don't take me somewhere cool, or you slip up, or you look at your phone too many times, you're done. Now, whereas, because I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, so I know the Midwestern, the get married, your high school sweetheart, get married in, high school, college, blah, 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 blah. It's a different kind of, if that's where you're from and that's where, a lot that it's a different kind of vibe. So I would say, I would hope that a female would give me some grace as Nessa would give that person some grace. But it doesn't always happen that way.
Right.
Nessa, do you feel like, kind of touching on what Kay said, do you feel like how you were raised, or let me phrase it this way. How does how you were raised play into how you date?
No, not at all. I
So
mean,
you feel like you are very different than as a dater than how you were raised by, if it was your mom or your dad or, the household.
for sure. Way different. I pretty much, like, even my friends, like, we almost all come from like a similar background, and I don't think nothing like them. I'm way different. I think I feel like I'm more understanding to people's situations, and I'm more open-minded, and I don't mind doing different things. So I don't mind thinking outside the box or trying something different, or like what he said, giving grace, or, you know what I mean? Like, way different, way different. My mom, like, family, no, everyone's just, they look at me different for sure by how I handle things. For sure.
You the black sheep.
Sure. In all aspects, friends, family, everything.
But you feel like you have friends who are like, oh no, I wouldn't go there with him on the first date, and
Oh yeah,
you're like, yeah, I can be cool.
block him. like, I'm like, dang, like, why are we blocking him so like fast? Or they're like, that's a red flag. I'm like, is it, or is it like trauma, or is it like, I understand the situation. I can understand that situation. They're like, no, I wouldn't deal with it, type of thing. And I'm like, I'll see where it goes. Like, I'm all for seeing where things go. So for sure.
Now, Kay, I feel like you you pointed because Nessa, you don't know this because you're new to the show, but Kay got blocked. A girl blocked him for responding outside of the 10-minute mark.
Oh,
Yeah, it's crazy.
that is crazy.
So she probably got friends like you got friends that say, "Girl, he ain't responded yet. Block him."
Yeah.
Right. Right. I mean, I also think that's like society these days, though. Like, they feel like they have to have constant communication with a lot of people 24/7. I don't feel like that's realistic. So again, that wouldn't be a deal breaker for me. That's kind of 10 minutes is kind of strict. I don't understand that one, but I mean, she's got her own standards. So,
But yeah, just to unblock me a couple of days later or whatever, I mean,
She
so that's like
unblocked. So
manipulation.
she put you in the freezer.
I feel like that's manipulation. That's the start of a manipulation.
You got manipulated.
Right.
Yeah, but man, forget that. I don't even want to think about that
Okay.
Never get that. And so, Katie, you same question. How do you feel like your upbringing affects how you date? In a good way, bad way?
I would say in a not in a bad or good way. I think that I've got a lot of traits of both of my parents, and but I've also been on my own, like for the majority of my life, and I've learned how to do things my own way. So I can't necessarily say that they've shaped the way that I've acted in relationships, but I can say that they've shaped my independence to where, as a man, I don't feel like I need a woman.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So they've shaped that in me, like, you got to get it on your own no matter what. Now, sometimes, you need stuff, and
You have a moment.
But no, so like, yeah, I think it's shaped. I think it has and it hasn't. But they have shaped that independence in me that would. Yeah. I'd say they have. I would love, like, I'm not gonna hold you. Like, I would love the matching jammies on Christmas, with the dog, and going out for walks with the dog, with the girlfriend and stuff like that. But I don't know.
Is that speaking from a place of being a little jaded, or is it from a place of being out of gas? It sounds more like being out of gas.
It's a little
It
bit of
sounds
both.
like that. Tired.
It's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of jaded. I cared about someone who I was with for not too long ago, and it crushed me when that was over. And when it comes to out of gas, yeah, I am totally out of gas. It's just like, nothing's easy nowadays. like when it comes to relationships, and that's why like people like I'm a total like I'm one of the most chillest dudes you will ever meet. Ladies, if you're listening, I'm one of the most chillest dudes you'll ever meet, ever. All you got to do is be able to communicate and reciprocate. That's it. That's it. Other than that, I mean, it's not. I mean, I'm just gonna keep doing my thing, and you know, if it happens, it happens. Or is David
Nessa,
frozen
what
now?
about you? Do you feel like am I froze? No, I'm talking.
Yeah.
Where's your gas tank at when it comes to dating?
I date with intention. So if I don't see anything going anywhere based off the short conversation, um, then I don't bother. I'm not out of gas. I'm very hopeful. I'm very optimistic. But I'm not willing to settle either. So, um, but I'm not wasting nobody's time at the same time. So like first date, if I don't feel the connection or, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to drag something out. You know what I mean? So
What's the
I'm
connection feel
respectful.
like?
Mm-hmm.
Like the chemistry, communication.
Butterflies.
I look for a gentleman. So like I look for gestures, things that, like during that date, like, are you opening my door? Are you, certain things like that. Like if you're not doing those things, that's what I'm looking for. You know
Are
what I mean?
dudes
Huh?
not opening doors anymore?
I I've been very blessed. I talk to people where they're like where men say that they're not that type of person. And I'm like, well, I mean, like, then there's no point in us, like dating because that's something I do look for. So if you're not doing that, then there's not a point. You know what I mean? I'm
So
not
when it comes,
dropping those
Mhm.
down just to accommodate you. You can
so
find
like
someone that doesn't look for those things.
so I'm a total door opener, but
Mhm.
let me ask you this question. Are you a door are you the person who wants your door open when you're already in the car?
Oh yeah, like
Or
like he gets on, opens my door for me.
yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Yes.
Oh, see, I don't never do that. I always
He said,
But you do it in front of people, but you don't do it when it's just between you and the lady. And I
no, no,
think
no,
that's
no, 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 no. I do. I'm a 1,000% of the time door opener. So let's say, for instance, me and my girl are leaving my apartment. We go to the car. I open her door. We drive somewhere. I don't get out of my car and go open her door. When we go
right.
to the restaurant, we leave, go back to the car. I open her door. She gets in the car. When we get back to my apartment, I don't get out of my car and go open her door.
Sure. Okay.
and
I feel
Nessa,
like
you
that's
saying
okay.
you like
That's
it both
balance.
ways.
That's a good balance. That's a good balance. But
Man,
I'm like,
And Nessa, are
if a
you
dude is
saying you
doing
want
that,
it
I'm
both ways?
giving.
say that way.
I said, Nessa, are you saying you like it both ways?
For sure. I've had it both ways. Yeah, I prefer it like that where they come. I naturally just expect it, I guess. But I've talked to people where they're like absolutely no car door opening, only restaurant door and like gas station store door opening. And I'm like, well, that's weird. Like then you're just doing that to
No,
be seen as a gentleman and not being the gentleman. You know what I mean? So I was like, that's kind of weird.
no,
But
It's weird to
I,
draw a distinction about I want to do it, but not all the time. Like to the grocery store, but not how you got to the grocery store.
I don't know too many dudes who do the park then get out and open the door. That's that's that's
I'm accustomed
sometimes
to it.
sometimes that
I'm
can be
accustomed.
overwhelming for a female.
You said what?
Sometimes that can be overwhelming for a female.
I feel like it could be for sure.
Do
Like
you
depending on
do you feel like because I think it's very interesting that you would say that, Kay, because it could come across as what's a good term?
So,
like
Maybe
control.
dominating.
You said what?
Dominating, maybe like domineering.
I don't think it's domineering.
I don't either. I don't either.
To do it all the time.
I think if you do it all the time, you're a simp. That's what I think.
What? I don't think so.
I don't know
I
about
don't,
that.
No, I'm saying if you do the get out the car and open her door all the time, that is wild.
He said that.
I dated this guy and he was literally carrying a TV, got out of the car, grabbed the TV out of the back seat, and came over and opened my door while holding the TV. Like,
Who
and then
paid for
still
the
open.
TV?
Huh?
Who paid for the TV?
He did. Like, he got it to put in his bedroom at the time, but like at the same time, like, he was holding a whole big freaking TV, and I didn't expect my door to be open at that point. No, you know what I mean? But he still did it.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
I'm
if you
just like,
do it every now and again, whatever. But every time, I don't know too many dudes that are doing that every time.
yeah.
That's wild. Now, for like I said, for me, 1,000% of the time, every time I'm opening up the door when we are going or coming back from somewhere, for sure, 1,000% of the time.
But I will say that I've heard that from women before. Like women have said I should never touch a doorknob. And I've heard that. And it's not, I mean, it's not necessarily foreign or you know, or alien to me. And to kind of give my response to the question I asked both of you guys, my dad is very much like that. Like he's very much I'm opening all the doors into the car, out of the car, into the store, out of the store. I'm gonna push the grocery cart, and you know he's that kind of person.
Yeah.
So it wasn't necessarily anything new when I heard it as an adult who was dating. It was just more like the person that it was coming from that I was like, wow, like you expect that type of treatment, you know? Because I think as a guy, you can't treat everybody like that. And maybe that's what
I
Kay
agree.
is probably getting into in the sense of he's saying, well, opening every door is for simps. I mean, I don't personally agree with that, but I feel like if you do that for every woman, then you might fall in that category.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. So that's better. That's better said.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's better said.
I agree. I agree in both parts. I know females that absolutely don't want the doors open for them whatsoever. Like they feel like they're like super independent and stuck in that mindset. So they don't want that. They feel like it's to like belittling them for whatever reason. So it could be overwhelming. It could be insulting to some women. So,
And
but
just like
I also, huh?
and just like you said, David, and like my boys from back home, we used to have this thing. Like you said, not every girl is going to get the same treatment. So, for instance, in college, you know, after we would, you know, smash out something, like my boys would be like, "What kind of fight did you give her? Like, did you give her the pay-per-view fight where you just put it down on her? Did you give her the ESPN fight where it costs to have ESPN, but a lot of people are watching it? You did just enough to do what you had to do, or did you give her the network TV fights where everybody can watch? Basically, you just got yours and dipped. And so not every girl, you're exactly right. Not every girl is going to get, you know, the same treatment. But when it comes to door opening, I mean, I don't care what girl you are. I'm definitely going to open the door 1,000% of the time. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do the sidewalk thing. You know, I'm gonna do all. I'm gonna do all. Yeah, I'm gonna do all those things. You know, because I'm very. Those are things that I think about. So for sure.
Nessa, do you feel like there is a girlfriend you, and this is touching on what Kay just said. Do you feel like there's a girlfriend you and a wife you?
No.
They're both the same person.
Yeah. I feel like I'm already a wife. So I'm not minimizing myself to certain levels. Like you are either going to appreciate it and I leave, or I mean, that's just how I am. But I'm not like, oh, there's stages to me to get to this. I'm a woman. I'm naturally going to be nurturing. I'm naturally going to do things for my man. So I don't box myself up like that.
But Kay, are you saying that there's a boyfriend you and a husband you?
I thought I just heard like Mufasa or something, like, like Mufasa. I think there's a boyfriend / partner in me. I think there's a difference for sure.
So there are things that while you're being a boyfriend, you hold back until you get to the level of being a husband. Then she gets the full package of you.
Okay, I take that back.
Yeah, I think that's weird.
Yeah, I take that back. I agree with Nessa. I think you don't truly know someone until you're 6 or 8 months in my opinion.
I mean, I agree with that for sure. At least 6 months. I feel like dating and like you're like that's when like dating really starts. Before then, you're just kind of getting to know each other. So I don't feel like you should be committed in a committed relationship until at least 6 months, for sure.
You say committed. You say committed as an exclusive?
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely levels into dating because like your first couple of months, you're like just getting to know them. You don't really know anything about them. Like maybe you guys are just strictly like you might agree to say, huh?
You're talking.
Right. You're just talking, getting to know each other. Nothing's fully like serious, committed, or exclusive. I feel like about like in between like the 4 and 6 month period, it starts to get a little bit more like exclusive, and then more serious afterwards. For sure.
So for me, I think there's definitely stages in dating. I think there's the talking stage,
which is like your honeymoon stage. Like you got the puppy love.
Yeah. It's I don't know how long that talking stage could go. It could go 1 month. It could go 4 months. Who knows? I don't really know. I think there's a talking stage, and then I think there is a dating stage, and then I think there's a boyfriend and girlfriend stage.
Right.
So during the talking stage, is it fair to say that you're able to sleep with other people or no, in your opinion?
I'm not sleeping with nobody during the talking stage.
But if they did, you're still cool with that? Because you're just talking.
I would think that they lack discipline. So I don't know. It depends. I would think they lack discipline.
Interesting.
If you're interested in me and you have to go out there and keep having sex and doing that, I would think you lack discipline. And then there would be no point in trying to pursue a relationship with me. Again,
but you guys are just talking. Like,
right. You're just talking, but you're supposed to be showing me interest, and there's supposed to be intention there. So if you're out there and you're like,
so we're exclusive.
What?
So we're exclusive?
No, you don't have to be exclusive, but at the same time, you gotta do that in the meantime. I think that like I wouldn't trust it.
So you don't think that a person can do both? I can show you all the time in the world, 3 or 4 days a week.
No, I wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't trust it.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
what has to happen between talking to dating to make that leap? What has to happen between those two stages for you to go from just talking to
I feel like
we
the
dating?
vulnerability, comfort, just a lot of things play a factor in that. And each case is going to be different. Like, so, I mean, like each person I date, like no one got the same version of me, but yet they did. But at the same time, I'm not like checking off things like, okay, 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 now we're ready to date. But I'm looking for certain things. I'm looking for that connection, that chemistry. Do we share the same values, beliefs, and stuff like that? And if I know you're out there sleeping with people, I'm not interested at all. Like, that's just me. I'm not going to be interested. If you're keeping it on the hush and somehow I don't ever find out and then we're exclusive, maybe I give grace. But if I know you're out there like
Going back
that,
to
if I
Grace.
know you're out there like that, why would I? Why, that's embarrassing. I wouldn't date
See, that,
nobody
see,
like that.
see what that does? Right, right. Okay, so then you're breeding, in my opinion, you're breeding miscommunication. Because if you don't want me to tell you, then you're gonna say that I'm
I'm
lying
not
to you.
going off like you not telling me, but like if you're out there and everybody's knows that you're out there sleeping around, like, oh, he's out here like he's a hoe, then no. Why would I want to try to date somebody like that?
But wouldn't you potentially know that I was a hoe after the first time that we went out? Because you would have talked to your girlfriends, I'm sure.
I wouldn't date you. I wouldn't date you. If I knew you were a hoe, I wouldn't waste my time. Like what? Like no. And what, think I'm gonna get a different, no, I would not do that. No.
So it's not based on time. It's just based on you seeing certain things.
I feel like time does have somewhat to do with it. I'm not gonna just, oh, like we got good chemistry, like we get along great, I'm gonna sleep with this guy and think that we're just gonna have this long-term commitment. Like, no, I definitely feel like time has something to do with it. But again, there's also got to be other factors that play a role into that.
No, no, no. I'm not zeroing in just on the physical part of it. I'm talking about like just to go from talking to dating. It could be 2 weeks with one guy. It could be 2 months with a different guy because you didn't see those things when, or he didn't present those things to you.
I feel like time still plays a factor. Yeah, I wouldn't say, because when you're dating probably multiple people at that first talking stage. I'm not cutting everybody off within 2 weeks thinking that I'm going to have this long term commitment with somebody. Like, that's kind of crazy. So, yeah, I would feel like, you know, months will play out and people will weed themselves out. And then if the chemistry's still there, then yes, I would date them.
Yeah, and I think Kay just paraphrased what I was asking. Is it different for every guy? Like, have you ever met a guy where you knew right off the bat, you just knew?
Yes. Yes. It's hard for me to find those, but when I do find them, I'm like, okay, I would take this guy serious. But I still do my process. I still wait. Like, I'm not just going to jump off and think like it's a fairy tale. Like, I still, wait the process.
Okay, I see you leaning in.
No, I don't got nothing to say. Nothing to say.
Do you now, Kay? So there's some things I've heard you say where communication is huge to you,
For sure.
and it should be to everybody. Um, and are you looking to see certain things? And if you're not seeing those things, are you communicating that?
Oh yeah, I'm very communicative when I'm talking to someone, when I'm dating someone. I'm what they call because as you know, I'm a corporate trainer. I'm what they call a expert level setter. So when it comes to relationships and when it comes to me getting to know someone, I'm fully aware. I want to know what they expect, and I want them to know what I expect.
Mm-hmm.
So we can
But
go
isn't
back.
that kind of like giving them the answers to the test?
I'm okay with that if it makes my life easier.
Agreed.
But then they're just doing what you want them to do just to get to the goal.
As am I. I'm asking them what they like and don't like as well. You have to communicate that. You have to be able to be on that communication level, with your partner, to know what you like, what you don't like, what bothers you, what annoys you. I want to know those things so I don't do those things, so those things don't turn into bigger things. And, that's why I can, realistically say that any girl that I dated after the fact, I mean, we're still cool. So like, it's not somebody I can pick up and say, "What's up, girl?" Blah 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 blah. But if I see them, it would be it would be a hug, and we would sit there and chat for 5 or 10 minutes for sure. Every single last one of them, maybe except for one, but that was a long time
Mm-hmm.
See, where I differ with that is that I like to think of myself as a strong communicator as well.
ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I also am very aware of the difference between setting my expectations and, like I said before, giving you the answers to the test, right? Because I want you to be you so I can see if we're actually compatible.
Yeah.
If I
That's
tell
where that
you
waiting period comes in at. That's why you don't. I feel like that's why the timeline matters.
because they can only fake it for so long.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
it's
gonna.
like a job. You know what I mean? It's like a job. They give you 90 days. You know what I mean? Like you got 90 days, and after 90 days, like it's up. Like they'll weed themselves out. So even though you give them quote unquote the answers, it doesn't mean that they're going to be cheating the test. They're going to fail anyway if
You're
they
gonna.
don't already agree. You know what I mean? And already have those same values and beliefs. They're going to fail. They're not
Yeah,
going to meet your standards.
Kadriana, I don't think that you're telling them how to manipulate you. I think
Right.
it's it's more so you
And it's
want
about
some.
being vulnerable. Like, what's the point?
Yeah,
And
for
you
sure,
got to be
for sure.
vulnerable.
You can only at some point you have to be yourself. Like if I meet a girl and I say I like this and this and this and this and that, that doesn't necessarily mean she's gonna cater to this and this and this and this and that. You know what I mean?
But why
That's
wouldn't
just
she?
She would.
She would do it
If she cared, she
because you
would.
told her what to do.
no, yeah.
No, but if she cared, she would do it. If she didn't care, she wouldn't do it.
So how are you getting to know the person that you may potentially
Right.
date if you aren't talking about your likes and dislikes?
Because I'm
Or
looking at it
expectations.
from, no, I'm saying you could talk about like I like steak over fried chicken. You can talk about that. Now, if
Okay.
she's listening, she'll say, I'm gonna make him steak because I know that he likes steak. But if in actuality she hates steak, she's
So
only
then she's
doing it because you
compromising.
like it.
No, if she hates steak, I've fostered an area where she should be able to communicate the fact that fact to me that she doesn't like steak.
But if
I
she
She,
would
knows that's gonna get
also,
her excommunicado from the list,
it's
she's not gonna
not,
say that.
but it's not though.
so if she don't like steak and she made you steak and she put chicken on her plate, would you be mad?
No.
Then what's the problem? Like I feel like she compromised and showed you, like, I had thought of you. I know you like this, even though I don't like it. Relationships are about compromise.
Right, but I'm not saying that I would be upset that she made me steak and herself chicken. That's probably a little bit more realistic than her making two steaks and pretending to like steak just because I like it.
What
I
if she's
wouldn't.
just doing
That's
it
that's
just
what I'm talking
because?
about. I don't want you to pretend to. I don't want you to pretend that the things that I like are part of your personality if they're really not.
So that's where
Okay,
That
so
makes
the
sense.
communication piece comes in, because during the quote unquote fact finding, when you're speaking to someone and you're like, man, I really love steaks. I would hope that she would say, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of steaks. I like chicken or seafood. So then I know, ding, ding, ding. Okay, well, I'm probably not going to eat steaks around her. I'm definitely going to find something else because I love to eat. I'm going to find, because I love fish. I love seafood as well.
right,
I'm going to find something as well to work around that. Now, if she said that she didn't like beef, if she was vegan or something like that, I would, and I'm not, I would hope during the quote unquote fact finding, when we are getting to know each other, that when she's asking me like, what's my favorite meal? And I say cheeseburger and fries. And she's like, I'm actually a vegetarian. Oh, okay. That's perfectly fine. Am I going to placate sometimes to go to her vegetarian places? 100%. Now
right,
she's going to have to understand that there's going to be times when we go to a restaurant that she's going to have her vegan plate, and I'm going to have my burger and fries or my steak and veggies.
right,
We
yeah.
would have, now if she didn't think that she could go along with that, then that is where we would probably part ways at some point.
Yeah, I feel like that's all about compromise. It doesn't matter if you like something and she doesn't. Like, I don't feel like that should be a factor. And I don't feel like that's faking it either. I don't like watching like ESPN 24/7, but I'll sit next to my man and let him watch it. And I could just sit there next to him and be on my phone. Like, even though I
But you,
don't
but
know what's
but
going
that's what I'm saying. You don't actually like it, but
on, but he
you're
does.
doing it because he likes it, because he
Yeah.
told you he likes it.
Yeah. What's wrong with that? That's what
See,
relationships are about. What's
see,
wrong with that?
I agree with you on that part, but it's since you're on your phone, I'd kind of get annoyed with that.
If I'm on my
Because
phone while you're
you're not in
watching,
it with me.
I'm still sitting here being with you. I'm still spending time with you. I could be on the phone shopping and be like, look at this, or I'm going to do this, looking up recipes. What's the problem with that? You're watching ESPN. I know nothing about sports. Like,
But
I'm
that's what.
sitting here with you,
So
spending time
so
with you.
so my pushback to you is, I'm gonna use your words against you. You know nothing
Oh.
about sports, so that is your time to get off your phone and ask questions about the sports if
I
you're
can
really
do
trying to
that
get
while
to.
I'm on my phone. I can be like, what happened? What did that mean? I could do that on my phone. Like, so like you don't like going
Because-
shopping, but you'll go shopping with your girlfriend. That doesn't like I don't see why that would be an issue.
So
Like,
I'm a different cat. I love shopping.
no, I'm just giving an example. Like that should be
Yeah.
an issue. Like like you're supposed to
no, but I
compromise and
think,
find ways to be together and work around things. Like that's a workaround. I don't care about sports, but I'll watch them. But I'm not going to sit there and be solely focused because my attention span ain't going to be into it. But because yours is, I'm willing to do that. And if I want to look at my phone every now and then, I would expect some kind of grace. Like I think that's a little much. I think that's a little much.
No.
That's
I
like,
feel like from like my this kind of how I look at it, right? So say like I love boxing, right?
okay,
When a fight comes on, if it depending on who's fighting, I don't watch every fight, but when the fight comes on, I'm like, babe, let's watch this fight. Jake Paul's fighting Mike Tyson. Let's watch this fight. I know that she don't like boxing. But if she pretended to like it just because I like it, that would make me feel bad because I know that you don't really like it.
I don't know. I just don't see the problem in that. I feel like because you're gonna end up doing something that she likes that you don't want to do for the sake of because you care about her. So I don't see the difference. And so like the woman doing the same thing.
I agree with David. But the only part that I don't agree with you on, Nessa, is the being on the phone part, because I already explained that. But for example, like you just said, there's going to be times when you're going to do something that you don't want to do, right?
Right.
So for example, I had an ex-girlfriend who loved to watch Schitt's Creek, right?
Okay.
You guys have you ever heard of this? We used to watch Schitt's Creek. I'm like, dude, I don't want to watch this show. So I sat there for the first couple episodes, not on my phone, but I sat there and I watched it because she wanted to watch it.
Uh-huh.
Next thing you know, we were watching that show together, and I was as into it as she was into it, because as I was going through it, I was asking questions about this and that character and things like that. And I was getting to know, and then we made it a thing. Like, that was one of our things, that we would watch Schitt's Creek together and things of that nature. So like, I think when I say I agree with David is in, if you are going to sit there and, yeah, maybe. If you sit there, I think that you should be attentive to what you're, in that instance, to whatever you're watching.
Every time, all the time, no matter what. When you're always watching sports, you expect her to be off her phone.
She said every time.
I mean, we don't have to put a percentage on it, but it doesn't have to be every time. But I would say more times than not.
Yeah, I don't see the problem with that. I mean, like, if you're playing video games, and we're in the same room, I'm just chilling. I don't see what the problem would be if, like, you're playing video games. It's not like your focus is on me, so why does it matter? I'm still next to you. So
yeah, I think video games are a little different. I mean, I don't play video games.
It's no different than watching sports. Your focus is on the TV, so why does it matter if I'm sitting next to you and I look at my phone?
Well, I think playing video games is a little different, because that the person you're sitting next to is actively participating in what's on the TV. If I say, let's sit down and watch the Bears game, I'm not playing. I want you to enjoy watching the Bears game with me.
No. Like, I'm not going to say no if you want to watch it. I'm going to watch it, but I'm not, I'm not into sports. Why would you expect me to be fully engaged every time you want to watch the Bears game? Like, that's crazy. That's not realistic. That's not realistic.
Are you going to a baseball card show?
What?
Yeah, trading card show. So we're going to a trading card show on Saturday. I'm taking my son, hopefully one of his friends too. So, and I'm into it as a hobby, right? Collecting cards, trying to get some valuable ones, whatever, right? It's an investment.
Right.
I invited her to come see something that I'm interested in.
Okay.
Right. Now, if we go and she's walking around the car show on her phone, Instagram, listening to podcasts or whatever on Instagram, that's not the Cabrini Kid podcast, mind you. If she's listening to other stuff and not paying attention, but she's there, then she's missing out on the hobby. She's missing out on what's important about it, right?
Right. That's a little different. That's like outside the home. That's an activity, I feel like. But
right, it's activity.
Would you be mad if she occasionally was looking at her phone while you're checking out these cards that you like and she has no interest in?
No, I'm not gonna ever be mad, but at the same time, I would be like, I would probably just make like a little mental note, like, this is not something that she wants to do. Like,
so you just want, it would be fake if you wanted her to be like fully engaged in every minute. That would be unrealistic expectations, I think. If you know she has no interest in cards and she's not at all like on her phone.
Well, no, it's not that I don't. it's not that I know that she doesn't have any interest. It's that it's probably something new to her that she has no idea about. You see what I'm saying? It's
Right.
like
I think that's
kind of,
different though, because that's like an outside activity. I'm talking like when we were talking about inside, like TV, video games, outside, I feel like is a little different. Like if you guys are going to do an activity together, I feel like it's a little different. But even then, I feel like I would still occasionally look at my phone. Like if like I saw my man like looking at these cars, I'm like, all right, he's into that. Like, you know, like, okay, I'm gonna text my friend back or something like that. You know what I mean? Like
mhm.
I don't see why that would be an issue.
Do you and if he went to go do something with you that was a hobby of yours, would you care that there was times where he wasn't engaged?
No, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care because I would think like, oh, he's, you know, at least coming to it to show support. He knows I care about it. Like he's with me. That's all I care about. Like you're with me. Like I'll talk to him, engage. I'll see he's on the phone. Like, what are you doing? And he'd be like, oh, I'm texting so and so back, or oh, I was just checking the scores on this. I wouldn't care.
Mm.
Until you get suspicious and all of a sudden, so that's when you were on your phone. Oh my
If I'm suspicious, then there's a problem.
It
That's a
was a
different.
problem
Yeah,
before they got to the event, if that was the case.
right. Yeah, there's a problem way before that.
But Kate Juliana said up here, let me see, she said that works on the small things, but bigger things it breeds resentment. And I guess there's probably a little bit
Yeah,
of truth to that. There's probably a little truth to that. Like if we just sitting down watching the game and you don't care and you online shopping on Amazon, like that's a little thing. Um, but if we're like at an awards dinner and I'm getting an award for being the best IT person in that department, and you're just like, I'm gonna hop on my phone real quick.
that would be disrespectful for sure. That's different though. I feel like outside the house is different. You know, like you're going somewhere together, you guys are doing an activity together, event together. That can be a little different. So
Okay, okay. Kate, what hobbies do you have?
me?
Yeah.
I like to work out. Um,
Okay, let's stop right there. So if a girl came to the gym with you, you say, "Hey, let's go to the gym." She came to the gym with you. She don't. You don't really know what her thoughts on working out are, but she said, "Okay, I'll go to the gym with you."
mhm.
And in between sets, she on her phone. Are you annoyed or are you not? You don't care.
I don't care. If it's like all the time, then yeah, I'll probably get annoyed eventually. But if it's a couple spot times, then no, I won't care because I'm probably going to do the same thing a couple spot times as well. I've gone to the gym with a couple females, and like when I'm with another female, I try my hardest not to be on my phone or not to be around my phone or not to even have my phone in my hand. So in a sense, I expect that same respect back, but it doesn't always happen that way. So, but yeah, if she did it a couple times, I really wouldn't care. But if it was like after every set, then yeah, I would be like, damn, who's this important?
mm.
I'd probably say something passive aggressive.
ineffective, ineffective communication by going the passive aggressive route.
Oh, for sure. I'd say something very jokingly passive aggressive with a little.
uh, okay, so final question. Um, this year, in the broad spectrum of the things that we've covered tonight, like do you feel like you are most thankful for when it comes to your mental health, your development emotionally, um, your personal growth, whether that be career wise or heading toward things that you've wanted to do? What do you think is the thing that you're most thankful for?
I'll let you go ahead, Nessa.
I'm like waiting. Um, I feel like all of it. I feel like I've prospered. Like I started at the beginning of the year with a vision board and different like things and categories, and I feel like I've exceeded all of those. And then even added more to it. Like mental health wasn't on there, communication, boundaries, different things like that. I've added different expectations for me. I've learned more about myself, like learned more how to approach different situations, careers change. Like I'm thankful for all of it. This year's been very good to me, like very good. It's been humbling, but it's also been very good. But I feel like you can't prosper without having a little bit of, defeat in there. So I'm thankful for it all.
Right, right, right. Okay, what
Um,
about you?
for me, I would say it's been a long, long year for me. It's been a long year. Um, mental health wise, I'm great. I'm built from a cloth that is very, very strong, that has built me up to be very resilient.
Hmm.
And I'm built for hard stuff. And I've learned from a lot of different things. So like mental health is good. Um, it's been a long year. I'm thankful for every single day. Thankful and grateful for every single day. Every single day that he wakes me up. I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for the ups and downs, the highs, the lows. I'm thankful for it all. Um,
Hmm.
but I'm hopeful that going into 25 that things will be a lot brighter because I'm going through a little bit of a cloud right now. So I hope that, in 25, the rainbow is going to shine and new things are going to happen. And hopefully love is around the corner at some point. And I'll be thankful for that as well. But until then, I'm going to be slanging that thing. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm
the
just joking.
streets,
I'm
the
just
streets
joking.
is calling.
I'm just joking. Just joking. How
um,
about you, Dad?
I think for me, um, one of the biggest things that I'm thankful for is, um, like you said, Kay, um, getting woken up every morning. You know, having an opportunity to open my eyes and relatively good health, um, use of all my faculties. Um, at the end of the day, and there's the old saying that no matter what happens to you, at the end of the day, they always say you always have your health,
Mm.
because it can always be very different in that aspect, and that's not always something that's in your control. So,
Yeah.
um, I definitely think that that's one of the biggest things that I'm super thankful for. Um, but then the other thing is having clarity,
Mhm.
um, being able to have clarity about what I want in my life, where I want to go with certain endeavors, um, having the mental capacity to push myself toward those things, um, being being a go-getter, being driven, having determination, like those types of things that make you successful. Um, super thankful to have that. Super thankful to have that. Um, I have my son, and he's 10, he turned 10 this year, and um, he's just a wonderful little human being that's blossoming into a young man. So I'm thankful that my situation is not like a lot of others where there's turmoil and um, confusion and chaos. As it relates to that. Um, I have a healthy little boy, and I'm super thankful for that as well. But then also having love in my life. I think that having love I think that people need that. I want everybody to find that. I'm thankful that I found that, in my person. Um, because dating is not easy. It's definitely something that it's definitely something that can take a lot out of you.
Mhm.
Like Kay said earlier, his gas tank is low, if not on E. Um, and I'm thankful that I found that this year. So those are things that I feel like are the most meaningful to me, and I'm super hopeful for 25. It's going to be a lot of change in the world coming up, but I think that at the end of the day, we all are for the most part in control of our destinies, and we have a lot of influence over our environment that directly affects us. And so I want all of us to obviously take advantage of that. So those are things I would check off my list for sure.
Mhm.
Um, okay, so we're gonna wrap. Thanksgiving is tomorrow. Nessa, I'm sure you're gonna be with your family having a great time.
Mhm.
Okay, you're gonna be in Scottsdale, which means you might be outside somewhere. So
I'll just be chilling at the crib, man. Just me by myself.
Mhm.
I'll FaceTime you when we sit down and say grace.
Thanks.
Um, but until next time, I want to thank everybody that tuned in today. Remember, like, subscribe, share. Nessa, you have anything you want to say before we get out?
No, thank you for having me. It was fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Kay, what about you?
Hey, I just want to make sure you guys have a happy Thanksgiving. Be safe. Have safe travels to you and yours. Continue to subscribe and follow. We got more to come. 25 is going to be great. We got more guests, more conversations. I want to know who's going to be the first caller. We got to have that first caller.
Somebody got to break. Somebody got to break that first one, and we got to do something special. Whoever,
No.
we got to put our hands together and come up with
Tell your
something
friends while
special for
you're
the
at
person.
Thanksgiving, when you're with your family. Tell your friends about the podcast. Tell your family about the podcast. Tell them to watch, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
Take it easy, everybody. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.